Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria.
And I'm Rosetta.
Hey, we're so very, very happy that you're taking this opportunity to hang out with us a little bit, get to know a little bit about us, what we think, what our opinions are. We're all about love and kindness. So let's get started.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Appreciate that nice little introduction. And if you're returning, thank you so much. If you're new, welcome. We hope that you stay for many of our chats. We're going to get right into it and talk about the teas that we're drinking today. Now, today I am drinking this tea it's from Harmony, and it's a little green packet like this. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, that's what it is.
Oh,
And it's called organic matcha green tea. And you pour the contents of the packet into a cup and you mix it with whatever kind of milk you want, non-dairy, dairy, nut milk, whatever. So I did that and tried it and did not like it because I put milk in it. So I had to put some of my real matcha powder into it. So I had to mix it in, but I'm still not 100% on this. But we'll see. We'll see. What are you drinking today, Gloria?
today I am drinking, it's called apple pie chai tea, and it's by the Republic of Tea. It is a natural unblended tea. Its ingredients are organic cinnamon, organic red rooibos, organic ginger root, natural flavors, organic licorice root, my girl's favorite, organic cardamom seed, organic nutmeg, and organic cloves. I just thought something different, you know?
Yes, I love that.
So, cheers.
All right, cheers. Let's try this one again with some of my matcha powder added to this.
All righty. Hopefully, it's going to be much better.
It is much better.
Excellent. Excellent. So, as always with our chats, we're all about love and compassion. So, our thoughts and prayers go out to the universe because we've got to learn how to love one another so we can learn how to live together as one another. So, as you go through your journey, you will see this chat is all about Rosetta and I bringing focus to love and compassion. So today is National, which one did I pick? You know, there are lots. I selected National Lipstick Day. And you say, really? And I said, yes, because National Lipstick is where they celebrate the iconic cosmetics that has empowered individuals every July 29th, from ancient civilization to modern runway. Lipstick has graced lips worldwide, symbolizing confidence, rebellion, and beauty. And I love the fact that women all over the world, the famous joke in the morning is, "Ooh, I got to get my lips on."
Very good. And isn't it no surprise that she chose National Lipstick Day? And remember, everyone, in regards to lipstick, read the ingredients and what it's made
Absolutely.
from. Yes. All right. We also have today is also National Chicken Wing Day. Who doesn't love a good chicken wing unless you are vegetarian or vegan? So, this little celebration of chicken wings today celebrates the little appetizer, and it's also sometimes known as buffalo wings, hot wings, or just wings. And did you know that the most popular sauce to have with these wings is ranch, and also next is the blue cheese dip as well, which I do not like. I prefer ranch. So, whatever you're enjoying your chicken wing with, or whatever you call it, buffalo wing, hot wing, or just wings, enjoy it. And did you know, if you have not already, purchase some chicken wings Look on the internet because there are some companies doing deals for chicken wings today and only today. We
Yes.
also have, yes, we also have someone's birthday by the name of Ken Burns. And you're probably wondering, who is Ken Burns? Well, Ken Burns is a famous filmmaker. Some of his films are The Central Park Five, Ali,
Nice.
known for Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
Gettysburg, Jackie Robinson. I love that movie. And Leonardo da Vinci, just to name some of his movies that he's made. So happy birthday, Ken Burns.
Yes. Happy birthday.
All right, everyone. As you know, I have been very interested in this case for Nolan Wells. We've been talking about this since the following Wednesday of July the 4th. Nolan Wells was a young boy, he was 18 years old, teenager, and he went to on 4th of July, he went with his friends from Ocean Springs to Horn Island, and he did not return with them. Later that night, his mother did a report for missing persons. They went to look out for him, and on Monday they found him that he had drowned. They found him in the waters face down. We've been doing updates every week because this is a very intriguing case, and we want to shed light to this and bring light and bring a lot of things to light so people know what's happening. Because the fact that he was a black teenager he was the only black boy with his friends. He had three or four other white boys with him. Those were his friends. And a lot of times what happens is when anyone, male or female, who are black, get killed or go missing, it's very sad because they get swept under the rug and nobody really wants to follow up to see what actually happened. But the reason why this case is getting a lot of attention is because there's a lot of misaccuracies, a lot of different stories being told, and we don't know what to believe. Now, if you have not been following us on this update, go back and watch the previous chats of ours because we've been doing updates and I don't want to spend too much time on recapping everything. But if you've been following us, the latest update is that, let me see, I'm going to get my information correct, is that when the friends left Horn Island, very shortly afterwards, the grandson of the owner of the boat realizes that the boat they're on is taking on water. So he calls a towing company. Now, if you are a member of this boat society or something, you have a membership to a towing company, which this is part of the membership. So he called, and during the call, people think in the background of the call, you can hear people talking. Now, it's not very clear, but the investigation, preliminary investigation, there are some people that have been like trying to decipher what people are saying in the background because it's a lot of commotion, a lot of words being thrown back and forth. But you can kind of hear, and they're saying they don't want to put words in people's mouths, but it kind of sounds like someone saying he's dead, Nolan, oh my God. Then other part of the audio, you hear some people saying, check his chest, wake up. So we don't really know exactly what happened because you can't really hear everything. The person that actually took a deep dive into this audio, she is there's a name for it, the audio analysis person. I forget her name, but she actually did two, like, put out two different recordings. She dissected it, and one was from the grandson calling the tow company, and one was from the background noise that she could hear. So she actually secluded the background voices and what she heard. Now, we don't want to put anything in anyone's mouth that this is what happened. So this is something that's been going viral, and they've been trying to figure out what was actually said, but nobody's really going to figure out what's going to be actually said. So here's the thing. There have been a lot of, well, not a lot, but a few people saying, like, one, his good friend bumped into him the day when Nolan was on the island, Horn Island, and he said that Nolan seemed like he was very intoxicated. Now, there's something else that comes to light that also when they actually found him, they said that he also seems to have had a lot of alcohol. So he was heavy with alcohol in his system. And when that happens, and I don't understand why he was drinking so much because he's underage. Who was giving him the alcohol? That's another question. They have to question the person giving him the alcohol. But when that happens, when you're really, really like heavily sedate, like have a lot of alcohol in your body, a lot of things happen and you forget what you're doing. Sometimes people blank out, they don't know what they're doing. So alcohol plays a big part in what happened. Um, on the day of his funeral, which was last week, his mother,
Monday.
oh, it was Monday, sorry, Monday. Um, his mother sends out to his friends, and this is Nolan's friends, a legal notice. And it says to expect a lawsuit instructing them on this lawsuit to preserve evidence and not to delete anything on their phones. So what she wants is she wants to have minimal release of information, which is meant to protect the integrity of the case. So that's what she's trying to do. So right now, all of this, if you go and look online, they're still talking about this audio. They're talking about this lawsuit that the mothers actually brought forward. And they're just saying that there's no timeline as to when this will be complete. So that's the update that we have. Have you heard anything else, Gloria?
Um, I also know that one of the big issues is related to the autopsy. There was an autopsy, and then Ben Crump, the lawyer for the Wells family, wanted his own separate autopsy. There's missing body parts. And I'm like, oh my God, how can pieces of Nolan be missing? That's causing an issue because normally, from the CSI shows I've watched on television, the most important thing is to keep control of the evidence and to be able to follow the path of the evidence. Apparently, that's not happening. So, the second doctor who performed the autopsy said in his report he could not rule out foul play because he could not verify everything because there's missing parts. Like Rosetta said, they've said he was intoxicated. So where did he get the alcohol? Why was he drinking? This is a young man that was headed to, college to play football, wanting to go to the NFL. Normally, children like that don't take risk like this. And like Rosetta said, however, if you do start drinking, you can forget or not realize what you're doing. So that could be an issue. So Crump, the lawyer for the Wells family, on Wednesday at the 117th NAACP National Convention in Chicago, shared that the family was still waiting on the second autopsy of the results of it. They were still waiting on the results of the coroner's examination and a toxicology report. So this is still work in progress. So it's not like they have all the evidence and they can say it was foul play, or it was an accident. It's still a work in progress. So his family, Nolan's family, they're just devastated for this to happen. And those recordings are making it even more of an issue because why are you saying what they think they're hearing? He's hurt. Why would you leave him? And, Rosetta and I have talked a lot about in the past, not this specific situation, where college students run these little, I can't think of the word now, where you have to like do certain tasks to join a sorority,
Oh, to
you
haze.
know.
The haze.
Yeah, so they do this hazing. So we don't know if this was hazing gone bad. However, it's not going to go away until more information is determined. And as we hear anything, we will make sure we keep you all attuned to that. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Savannah Guthrie. She is the one of the leads on the Today Show. And as you know, I would say it's been about 25 weeks ago, her mom disappeared. And her mom is Nancy Guthrie. She's 84 years old. And they kind of gave up the search. Well, on Monday, Savannah took to her Instagram and she basically just put a message out there. Um, People don't know why she said what she said. They're now trying to interpret, was she talking to the people who took her mom specifically in her tone, in her infractions? But basically, she says that make the right choice. And she hopes that they will tell them what happened to her mom. She's looking for the remains of her mother. She said that it is just, I mean, you can imagine, it is just heart-wrenching for the family not to know what happened to her. They were willing to pay the ransom. What happened? Why did they not continue forward? There are credible leads and then there are not so credible leads. And she's like, help them. She goes, I truly believe it's never too late to do the right thing and help bring this situation to an end for all of us. No matter where we've been, no matter what we've done, she believes there's always a way. And she asks them to please make the right choice. Tell them what happened to her mom. So we thought this was done and gone. It's not done and gone. The family still wants to know what happened. So the post is on Instagram. You can go and check it out. But our hearts it's just so sad for the family because when you don't know, it eats at you. Where could she be? Was she tortured? Was she hurt? Did she die in her sleep? We just don't know. So I'm sure this is going to continue, but we just wanted to give you a quick update.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the person who kept sending the emails to TMZ will come forward and actually tell them where the body is so that they can have closure. Closure is
Yes,
really what she wants.
yes, that's what she wants and what she needs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So this weekend on Sunday, there was a horrific mass shooting in Seattle. Now, this happened during a time when it was at a food festival, something fun for the whole family, and it was near the Space Needle. And all of a sudden, shots started firing, and became a chaotic scene. People were fleeing, and at least three people were killed and more were wounded. And one of the people that was injured was a 2-year-old toddler. They were rushed to the hospital. She actually left the hospital on Tuesday. I think it was yesterday. She was released from the hospital. But they did figure out that the shooting came from three suspects. One was actually arrested, and two of them, one was arrested, one died, and one is still at large. And they're saying that this was gang related because they were shooting at each other. And it was
Mhm.
just such a sad thing that they could do it at this wonderful festival where it should be a joyous occasion. um, the the officials at one spot of this festival they found 14, sorry, not four, 14 shell casings, three
Mhm.
firearms, and one of them was a ghost gun that belonged to one of the shooters who was only 15 years old. So one has died, so they can't question that person. The other one that's brought to custody, and then the third person is at large. So we're hoping that they can find the other person that the other suspect that's at large. But it's very sad, and whatever, I don't know, like they'll probably do some jail time and they'll probably go forward in front of a jury, and we'll have to see what the case is and how it plays going forward. But we will keep you updated because this is a really, really sad thing that happened.
Yes. Yes, I completely agree. This particular festival, it's an annual extravaganza featuring hydroplane races. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels perform. They normally draw around 180,000 people per day for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And also amazing food. So people are actually able to, eat their way around the festival, have fun, look at different demonstrations. It's a big event, and it's annual. And it was just very sad that someone decided that their beef was more important than life, and for a toddler to get hurt, it just goes to show you the disregard for life. So that to me was just, a little sad. So the police chief, his name is Chief Barnes, was kind of attacked by a reporter because they were like, well, where were you, and how did you let this happen? And he basically said, I wish I had a crystal ball that we could schedule gun violence and keep everybody safe because we know exactly when it's going to happen, but that's impossible. And it's like, why accentuate the negative? Why not go to the positive? Number one, yes, there were loss of lives and people were hurt. It could have been far, far worse. And what do we do to make it better? How do we pass laws restricting the free flow of guns so that families can go out and have a good time?
Exactly. But they did say that there were some people that were interviewed and they said that they should have had more security because they didn't do any bag checks or anything or have any metal detectors. So, but again,
Right.
like you said, it's kind of sad that we have come to this because you go to any events nowadays, they check your bags, there's a metal detector, and it's just the way of our life now. It's
Yeah.
sad. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, it really is. Um, so have you heard the term Apple upgrade? And you think to yourself, what is that? So Apple is rolling out a new leasing service that's going to be available for select iPhones, Macs, iPads, and Apple Watch. The new leasing service will be offered by a company called Klarna, and its eligible customers will be given, say, an option that if you want a new iPhone, it's $11.99 a month. And if you want a new Apple Watch, that would be no, the iPhone is $17.99 and the iWatch is $11.99. And you can do either a 24 and 12-month lease, or you can do a 24 to 36-month lease. And what you do is just like if you lease a vehicle, you can keep it and pay off the remaining purchase. You can turn it in and get a brand new one. So the verdict is out. Would you want to get your phone all set up in about the first year and then you're like, oh, I'm ready for a new upgrade? I don't know if I would want to do the leasing program because I don't upgrade fast like that. However, I know young people, they have to have the latest and the greatest, and they're all excited about that. So I'm like, I don't know if that's something that I would want to do.
Well, that's what I was thinking because there are people that every time there's a new addition to the phones, they like to upgrade. And I think
Yep.
I heard, which was what I don't understand, because usually when you're leasing, it's more expensive at the end, right? but they're saying that when
Well,
you're
yeah,
leasing, there's no interest on what you're leasing on the amount. So it could be end up being cheaper in the long run. But you're saying the young kids, they like to do that. So that might work for them because they might like that.
yeah,
It's also a good way for someone who wants to try it out. Because you maybe, for example, you're an Android user or a Galaxy
right.
user or Amazon or whatever Google phone user, and you want to try an Apple phone. What better way than to lease it? It's no different than, I guess, if you're someone like you, Gloria, who said you don't upgrade your phone as often.
Right.
It might be a hindrance to keep doing that. But if it'd be the same as if you upgraded your phone, you would still have to do that factory reset and make sure that all the data is wiped out from the phone. So it's the same way as just
Yes.
buying a phone and just giving it up and upgrading. So I think it's the same thing. But
It,
it's nice if someone wants to try out like an Apple Watch, for instance,
yes.
to see if they like it
Yes.
or not. That would
I
be
mean,
nice.
$12 a month, that's kind of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So it could be a plus and it could not work for some people, but as you say, young kids love it because they're always upgrading. And I don't even
Yes.
know how they afford it because it's so expensive.
I don't I don't either.
Yeah, but it's a good idea and it gives people options. That's what I'm saying. All
Yes.
right. So Taylor Farms, does that sound familiar to you? It's been in the
Oh,
news
yes.
lately, yes. And it has been, Taylor Farms has been connected in the past couple of weeks to the Cyclospora outbreak. And what happened was that people in certain states have been eating out, and they're saying that primarily it stemmed from Taco Bell, from the iceberg lettuce. And but now they're finding out because they had some people talking about they got sick and they didn't eat at Taco Bell. So they're now not sure where it's coming from, and then they want to make sure that they're actually getting to the cause of this. Now, the outbreak has now spread to 9 states. The older states was Kentucky, Ohio, Indianapolis, Michigan, but some newer states, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma, there are more outbreaks in those states now. And Taylor Farms was sold to Taco Bell. Now, FDA have traced some of the tainted lettuce to a farm in Mexico. And this past Sunday, the agency's former commissioner said the outbreak may not be fully contained, which is not a good thing to hear because we want it to be fully contained. They don't know if the only region is coming from, if that's the only region it's coming from, but that does seem to be the case at this point, they're saying. Now, they're also saying that Taylor Farms recalled the lettuce, which was in some of their products that they sold, but they also sold to Walmart as well. So they're recalling everything from the Walmart stores. Now, this is weird because when this first happened, this outbreak happened, there was a report saying that voluntarily Taco Bell was removing some of their ingredients for some of their food. And they also said
Right.
not because that was the source, they were just taking precautions. No one accused them, they were just taking precautions. And lo and behold, it was them all the time. They were the source. It was the shredded lettuce that they were serving from Taylor Farms in a region in Mexico.
Yep.
So they've suspended all the iceberg lettuce sourcing and production from central Mexico. And Taco Bell, again, as I said, has stopped selling the suspected ingredient as of July the 17th, which we'll have to see what if they can do some more research, if it really was the shredded lettuce or what was it because of that one incident. The person said, why didn't eat a Taco Bell? So we don't know. But on the same time, let's talk about a separate incident that's been happening along the same lines. We have this salmonella outbreak. And where is it coming from? The eggs. Sickened nearly 100 people. And the FDA are linking this to some eggs from a company called Midwest Poultry Services. And they are sold at multiple locations, including Kroger's. We don't have a Kroger's in the Bay Area, so
Mhm.
luckily, I have not
I
heard
think
of.
the closest one to us is Los Angeles.
Oh, Los Angeles. So Southern California has it. So luckily, we don't have any nearby. I have not heard of the brand Midwest Poultry, but the egg company is voluntarily recalling. Um, I think around about 1 million white shells and brown cage-free eggs that's sold in 6 different states. And what they're telling everyone is, if in doubt, and this goes with the iceberg lettuce or anything that you're not sure about, if in doubt, throw it out. That's what they're saying. So just be careful. And I'm glad here in Northern California, we haven't had as many cases. So hopefully we'll be okay. But if you're not sure, again, I said if in doubt, throw it out.
Yes. And we realize that's a hard statement to hear because food is so expensive right now. Um, the other thing that I saw that made me go, so they recalled the shredded iceberg lettuce mix. So, no, the bag mix. So it's not just the loose, it's the bag mix. Across 27 states between June 29th and July 16th. And remember last week, it was like, it's Taylor Farms. And then the FDA came out and said, no, no, that's a false positive. It wasn't them. And here we are back again. Maybe it was them. So Taylor Farms, um, they attempted to kind of work with the FDA. And so what they did is they started donating money to try and, get people to come to their side, which, as we all know, is not the best thing to do. So Rosetta and I are telling you, if you've purchased something and you're not sure, you can either throw it out or make sure you clean your vegetables before you eat them. I used to buy my eggs from a egg ranch, and those eggs look like they came right out of the chicken. So I would get my eggs, I would take them home, I would make a mixture of vinegar and water, I would soak them, and I would clean them until the outside shells were good. You just have to make sure that you realize that if it looks a little tacky or a little sticky, clean it. Just be safe because food is very expensive to just throw it out. I haven't heard of anything where I'm sure you can, but I haven't heard how you specifically go back to the store that you purchased something one to say, I bought this here. Because a lot of young people do that tap and go. And I'll be in the grocery store and they'll go, would you like a receipt? And they always say no. And I'm like, yes. And I keep my receipt until I use whatever I purchase, and then I get rid of the receipt. So just some little things you can do to help you be safe. So Rosetta is one of the charitable contributors to the UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. So I was looking at one of the morning news programs, and there's this Dr. Jason. And Dr. Jason was talking about adolescent medicine. He's a specialist for addressing children with eating disorders, but he's also studied health consequences for adolescents and young adults' behavior related to nutrition, physical activity, screen time, with the goal of preventing disease like cardiovascular disease and mental illness. Because if you're stationary, you're not moving your body, you need to go outside and play. If you are, you get just into screen, and now with the onset of AI, you can create your own little avatar. So now you have your own little world in a bubble. So Dr. Nagato, which I just said Dr. Jason, but that's his full name. What he's doing now is he's talking about the effects of social media, We've heard a lot about this, but this is a hospital that specializes in children care for him to come out. So he used an example of a young girl that gave up her smartphone. And she was like, oh my God, it was so hard in the beginning. However, she is embracing it. She has a notepad now. She writes down notes so that she has information that she needs. Everything is not on the phone. Her flip phone cost her $20 and she pays $15 a month. Now, all the young people, you should all be going, what? Because I know you all pay way more for the purchase of your smartphone, as well as the monthly service for that cell phone. So Dr. Jason is just trying to figure out what things can be put in place to help children not just be screen time, screen time, screen time. So I thought it was really wonderful as a physician who is at a local children's hospital, UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. So here we are once again, where there are some real doctors who care about the livelihood of our children and trying to give them services and tools to improve the quality of their life.
And you don't know how happy that sounds when you're saying this, because I always say it always stems from the family and how we can raise our kids at the earliest age possible that they're able to understand these things. Because I say it's about a healthy lifestyle culture. And how do you create that? It's being in an environment. And as kids, we spend most of our time at school and at home. So we need to create that environment for our children to become healthy young adults when they go out into the world once they leave the home. And when we can create that culture for them, it becomes a lifestyle. I always say culture starts at home and it becomes a lifestyle. And
Yes,
I applaud this doctor so much because there aren't that many, even schools, there aren't that many people in schools that are teaching all these things, healthy lifestyle, social media, how it affects our cognitive function, our mental
yes,
state, our mental health, all these different things, nutrition, how it affects our lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, what happens
yes,
over time. So I just love
yes,
this. And UCSF Benioff is my um, charity that I support, and I have a fundraising page because I like to donate and have people help donate to the families of the children that are in UCS Benioff, because they accept any family without insurance. And when your
yes,
child is sick, you need all the help you can get. And all the funds go towards the families when their kids are sick, like for meals, transportation, gas, housing, spiritual help, all kinds of things when a child is in need in the hospital. So thank
yes,
you for bringing that up. So it's a great
yes,
opportunity to help our young kids.
absolutely. And I think you should put your link in the, down below so that people who want to support this. And one of the things that the doctor said is lead by example. Set up a time where, it's a device-free zone. Like when they get home from school, have a basket in the dining room because they're hungry. They're always hungry. And just say, put your phone away, put your pad away. How was your day? What did you do? And you put yours away. Don't be telling them what not to do and you're texting like a little mad person. So this will help. But I love that the local hospital is doing something.
Yes, I love it as well. I love, love, love it. Okay, now we turn to another update, but this has been a long time since we've talked about this because it was many, many years ago in 2022. Do you remember in Idaho, there were four college students that were stabbed while they were sleeping? And this was big news.
Yeah.
And they were wondering, what happened? Who did this? But the person that actually was arrested and charged, his name was Brian Koberger. Well, he has actually come forward and is seeking to reverse his guilty plea after stabbing these precious four Idaho college, innocent college students. Now, he wants to take his guilty plea back by challenging his murder conviction. Now, the killer claims that he was induced by unkept promises, advised to lie and accept a legal victory, one that kept him off death row. Now, Koberger right now is serving 4 life sentences for stabbing the 4 students in 2022. So, in the petition for post-conviction relief, he was convinced to falsely confess by coercion, disinformation, false promises, and the withholding of exculpatory discovery. Now, during a rare interview with the New York Times, he said, this is his words, "My actual innocence is a truth, and the plea hinged on by the false promises and blatant disinformation must be withdrawn." That's what he said. But he has not presented any new evidence. Now, one of the families of the 4 students that was brutally stabbed, the Gonzalez, I think they're called I don't want to botch this up, Goncalves family, said he chose not to leave his fate or the fate of the case to a jury. He never cried foul, never claimed he was uninformed or pressured, and never suggested there were problems with the discovery that was brought forward, like the materials that were brought forward. We would have preferred a death penalty trial. We believe fully in the evidence. So legal advisors are now saying that his chances of this reversal position is very slim, very low. So it's kind of shocking that he would come forward, and this is the kind of argument why he needs to reverse his plea guilty conviction that he pleaded guilty with. So we thought this was all done and taken care of, and no, now here he goes again and wants to get his conviction reversed. It's kind of like it makes me laugh in a way because it's absolutely, to me, it sounds a bit ridiculous.
I completely agree with you. It's it's just crazy that, he came up. Now, remember, he got a what do you call that? He got a deal. It wasn't just it goes to trial, this is what it is. He was actually, they said, if you come forward and admit the truth. And so there was a conversation about that. I remember thinking, why are you doing that? But that's because they wanted it like done. So they think that everything's done. And now he's like, I changed my mind. I was coerced. I really, really didn't do it. I really, really. And I'm like, oh my goodness, because this is very hurtful and harmful to the families because they lost their children, they lost their brothers, sisters, their friends. And I'm sure they're like, okay, this is over and done. And now we're starting back up. So it's pretty sad.
Yeah, but as
Pretty
they
sad.
say, it's very low chance that it will be reversed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about something that's very uplifting to me. I love, love, love music. Love music. So our wonderful Pope Leo the 14th just he had just completed his vacation, and then he decided, let's have a concert for peace. So earlier today on their time, he had a interfaith prayer service and performance highlighted by musicians um, to build a bridge that divides that he wants to build a bridge against the division that's in the global conflict of the world right now. And he wanted to do that through music. So I might botch this up. I apologize up front. At his, I think this is his private residence
I'm a
in the,
resident.
yes, at the Castel Gandolfo C which is his summer residence. And it featured the voice of Andre Bocelli and a choir of children from all over the world. And so when I heard this, I was like, oh my God, this is so wonderful. Well, Rosetta and I just found out that this is going to be streaming on Peacock and tonight on NBC, wherever you get your NBC channel. I think the concert's at 8 p.m. PST, which is Pacific Standard Time for us. But we're going to actually be able to watch the concert. And I love watching Bocelli sing. I mean, when his eyes start flittering, I'm in the zone. So, Pope Leo, thank you so much for bringing something beautiful to our chaotic world right now. I'm very, very grateful.
Yes, I've loved Bocelli from way back when it was like probably in the early 2000s. I've loved him. Remember when we had the four tenors that were really popular? He wasn't
Yes,
really as popular as them, but I still loved him. And when he goes into his high range, goodness, I love him. And I actually saw him live. I forget where. I think it was the SAP Center, San Jose SAP Center. But
right.
he really is. He's really amazing.
Yes. So, with all this stuff going on, Rosetta and I are going to talk a little bit about weather, what's going on in the world. So, Rosetta, why don't you kick us off? Let's talk about weather.
Weather. We always talk about weather because as of late, it's been even worse than ever. We are in
Yes,
the dead of summer, and there's like, it's not even just in the USA, it's all over the world. The
everywhere.
globe is being affected by what man has done to our world. And there's places in the US that's like flooding, but then there are places in the US that are over 100-degree temperature. But not only that, in Europe, in France and Spain, there have
Yes,
been, especially in France, there has been over 300,000 people forced to evacuate. And these fires are threatening, like in France, this is huge because the wine country, Bordeaux is huge
that's
for
right.
wine. There's
That's
been
right.
people that have been threatened. The wine country, people have been told to evacuate. And in Western Europe, it has been the June has been the hottest on record so far to date, and temperatures are expected to rise this week even more. You should just see
Yes,
the sheer like devastation that this fire has been causing. It's it's I mean, we have really bad fires, but we have it like it's not good, but we have it every year. We know some fires are going to break out, but Europe don't
right.
usually get these huge fires where they're actually reporting it around the globe. It just doesn't happen. And this is crazy, crazy,
Yes.
crazy. And it's these people that have to evacuate, it's just horrific. I mean, I can't even imagine being near these fires or having a could you imagine having a residence near these fires, living there and just like not even sure what's going to happen? Crazy. It's really
Yeah.
crazy. And then we also in the US, not only is it in Europe, but in US, wildfires are in the Northwest as well. And also hurricanes are happening. Hurricanes are happening as well. It's
Mhm.
crazy. It's crazy. What do you have to say about all this, Gloria?
Kind of along the same line, like on the East Coast, we've got 100,000 people, like in New York and New Jersey, where the water has been rising higher and higher every day. And in Pennsylvania, the water is waist high. So they have people in the water that's like, 5'9" and taller, and the water's coming to their waist. And we also have high water, standing water. So be careful in West Virginia, Tennessee, and Virginia. There was a tornado in Maryland and it ripped the roof line off of homes and businesses. In Wisconsin, there was an EF3 tornado, and that also ripped through the community with wind gusts up to 165 miles per hour. when this is done, it looks like splinters instead of homes and trees. I mean, the devastation is really, really bad. Here in California, where we are, we're having riptides. So if you go to the beach, hear me, do not turn your back on the water because the riptides are coming in. You know how you like to walk along the beach and go up to your ankle? Well, some people are going up to their knees. They're getting caught in these riptides. Yesterday, I saw a young boy was out in the ocean. He was caught, he was failing, he needed help. Another kid, a young kid, sees him, goes out to try and get him. And as he gets to him, he covers him and he is engulfed in water. So then another person off the sidewalk goes out to pull the two of them in. It's very, very dangerous. And they're just telling us to be very, very careful. Now, this is what has gone on as of today, at this present moment, in Albany and Boston and New York and Nantucket. They're getting more. It's revving up, and you see these red and yellow swirls, which means medium to severe. So we've got more water coming. If you are out and you're driving and you see standing water, stop, turn around, do not go forward because we see on the news cars floating in the water. It's just really, really been awful. So we got all that going up in the high northern areas. Then from California to Florida, we have a heat wave. So just to give you an example, in El Paso, Texas, it's going to be like 102. Phoenix, Arizona, 112. Fort Worth, Texas, 102. New Orleans, 95. Jacksonville, Florida, 95. And this is the start. And each day it's going to get progressively warmer. So right here, close to us, is Fresno, California. So it's going to be 103 on Friday, 105 on Saturday, 104 on Sunday. And because we have moisture from all of the swirls of the wind and the water in the air, it feels muggy, so it's hot. I have a friend who lives in Vegas. After 11 a.m., she doesn't go out of her house. It's too hot to go outside. They've had so many triple digits back to back. This, like Rosetta said, is man created. So we're having all of this weather. And then we can also talk a little bit about in Japan, they had an earthquake, right, Rosetta?
Yeah, they had an earthquake and it was more than 24 hours ago. And I think it was I forget what 6.8 magnitude. And
7.1. They upgraded.
7.1, 7.1. I heard 6.8 somewhere. But um, the reason why it's so devastating, this particular earthquake, is because, Japan, they are equipped to withstand earthquakes because of the way that the buildings are being built, unlike other countries that have earthquakes, like Venezuela had one and they had way more disasters. But what has
Exactly.
happened this time with this earthquake is that there have been nearly 200 aftershocks. And what's devastating is that there was a mall, and this is actually in southern Japan. There was a mall and
Yeah.
it collapsed and it trapped, there's like a dozen people trapped inside of it. And at least 13 people so far have been killed, and they're trying to rescue more people in this. The
Yes.
epicenter was happened in the southern western island of Ki Kyushu. I think that's what it's called, Kyushu.
Yeah,
300,000,
Kyushu Island.
yes, Kyushu Island. And 300,000 people from that island have been evacuated. And
Yes.
even it's so bad that even Kumonto Castle, the walls of the castle have been crumbling.
Mm.
So, and also parts of bridges have been falling into the water, and then shrines and houses have been collapsing into themselves. It's actually bigger than we expect it to be, and they're saying that there's possibilities of more earthquakes coming this week. So I don't know how much worse it can get, but to have I mean, one earthquake is enough, 7.1, but to have nearly 200 aftershocks. I mean,
Yes.
we here in California, we've had it where we've had, luckily, I was not here in 1989 when we had the big earthquake.
I was.
I would have been, I don't know how I would have, I think I would have like been really freaked out, but I've been here where there've been earthquakes that have been magnitude like 3 point something. Here's the
Right.
thing with earthquakes. When it starts, you don't know how long it's going to last. See, that's the most
Exactly.
unsettling thing. That's the most scariest thing in the world. That feeling like, oh my God, there's an earthquake. Is it going to be a big one or a small one? That
Right.
is the most scariest feeling. That's why I hate earthquake. I'm not looking forward to any earthquake that happens. Luckily, we haven't had that many earthquakes, but knock on wood, but I don't want to jinx it.
Yes. Well, there's been, some like up in the Pleasanton, San Ramon area where they were getting earthquakes every day. Loma Prieta was very, very scary. And, it's grateful that you weren't here because it's like you said, you're like, okay, earthquake. And you're like, okay, okay. And just about the time when you're like, oh my God, it stopped. But then we had the aftershocks and the devastation around the Bay Area was we used to have a double decker road. It was called the Cypress. So you would go in underneath and come out of San Francisco on the top. It collapsed. If that had been a typical day where people were commuting home, thousands of people would have died. By the grace of God, we had a baseball game, the A's versus the Giants. So people were off work, they weren't on the road. So that was a blessing, but it's just very, very scary. So we can kind of relate a little bit to what they're going on in Japan right now. And we are just our thoughts and prayers are with you because it's the scariest feeling you can ever imagine. Very scary. Well, we went through a lot of things. We hope we gave you some good information. We did lots of updates, and we're going to continue to do some of those updates because it's just the unknowns. It just doesn't make sense. However, we're very grateful that you hung out with us until the very, very end. We want you to know that we love you and we're grateful for your participation. We feel the love that you send to us and we feel it bubbling over and we send it back
And
to you.
back to
You go
you.
out and share it with the world.
Yes, thank you so much for staying to the end of the chat, and we hope you enjoyed it. We'd like to give updates of things that have been happening around the world, and if it's important, we'd like to just point it out. If you liked our chat, don't forget, we would love it if you could hit that thumb icon. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, that helps with the algorithm and helps us produce more chats. And hit that bell notification so you're the first to be notified whenever any of our chats are ready to be viewed. And if you would like us to talk about something or have anything you want to, respond to any of our chats, put it in the comments below because we'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We love you, and we are Silicon Valley Girls Chat over our teas. And don't forget, we will have the names of our teas in the description. Right. And
And
remember
remember
to
to
always
always
keep
keep
smiling.
smiling.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.